From the banks of the Huangpu River at the beginning of this century to the banks of the Haihe River, today the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has gone through an extraordinary journey of development, making important contributions to safeguarding regional security. It has promoted common development, improved the well-being of the people, and set a model for a new type of international relations. Since China assumed the rotating chairmanship, colleagues have shown concern and support for China's work. Representatives from all walks of life in member states actively participated in activities hosted by China, implementing the important consensus reached at the Astana summit. The SCO's cooperation in political, security, economic, trade and cultural fields has gone deeper and produced fruitful results. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all my colleagues. At present, the international situation is turbulent and intertwined, and the security and development tasks facing member states are becoming more arduous. China is willing to use this meeting as an opportunity, together with all parties, to summarize experience, draw up a blueprint, and jointly promote the SCO towards a new stage of high-quality development and high-level cooperation, working hand in hand to build an even closer SCO community of shared future. Now let us begin today's meeting. I invite colleagues to share their opinions and suggestions in light of the meeting's theme. First, I will speak on behalf of China. Distinguished colleagues, 24 years ago, when the SCO was first established, it set out the Shanghai spirit of mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, consultation, respect for diverse civilizations, and pursuit of common development. Over the past 24 years, member states have upheld this original aspiration and shared opportunities. They have developed together, advancing the building and cooperation of the SCO, achieving a series of pioneering results and historic achievements. We took the lead in creating a military confidence-building mechanism in border areas, turning the vast border into a bond of friendship, trust, and cooperation. We were the first to carry out multilateral operations against the three evil forces: terrorism, separatism, extremism, steadily advancing law enforcement and security cooperation, properly managing and handling contradictions and differences, taking a clear stand against external interference, and safeguarding regional peace and stability. We were the first to launch Belt and Road cooperation. A large number of landmark projects and small yet beautiful livelihood projects have taken root. Industrial investment cooperation has been actively advanced, providing stronger momentum for regional development and prosperity. The goal I proposed, that trade between China and other SCO countries would exceed $2.3 trillion US, has been achieved ahead of schedule. The three-dimensional connectivity network is more complete, with nearly 14,000 kilometers of international road transport routes opened among member states and more than 110,000 China-Europe freight trains operated cumulatively. We took the lead in concluding a declaration on the Treaty of Long-Term Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation, pledging eternal friendship and no enmity. We established and fully utilized mechanisms such as the SCO Committee on Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation, building networks for people-to-people exchanges and expanding cooperation among localities, media, think tanks, women, youth, and others, enhancing mutual understanding and friendship among the peoples of member states. We were the first to put forward the concept of global governance based on consultation, joint construction, and sharing, practicing genuine multilateralism, deepening cooperation with the UN and other international organizations, constructively participating in international and regional affairs, always standing on the side of fairness and justice, advocating civilizational inclusiveness and mutual learning, opposing hegemony and power politics, and making positive contributions to world peace and development. Colleagues, today the SCO has grown into the world's largest regional organization, with 26 countries participating, cooperation in more than 50 areas, and a combined economic output of nearly $30 trillion US. Its international influence and appeal are growing by the day. Looking back, despite stormy clouds, we have succeeded by practicing the Shanghai spirit. Looking ahead to a turbulent and changing world, we still need to follow the Shanghai spirit, work steadily and forge ahead to better play the role of the organization. First, we must adhere to seeking common ground while reserving differences. Shared aspirations are our strength and advantage. Seeking common ground while preserving differences is broad-mindedness and wisdom. SCO member states are friends and partners. We must respect each other's differences, maintain strategic communication, build collective consensus, strengthen solidarity and cooperation, expand the scope of cooperation, make good use of each country's strengths, and shoulder together the responsibility of promoting peace, stability, development, and prosperity in the region. Second, we must adhere to mutual benefit and win-win outcomes. We should deepen the alignment of development strategies, promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, and enhance regional development momentum and people's well-being through consultation, joint construction, and sharing. We should leverage the advantages of China's super large-scale market and the economic complementarities of member states to improve trade and investment facilitation, and to strengthen cooperation in energy, infrastructure, green industry, digital economy, technological innovation, artificial intelligence, and more. In achieving each other's success and creating the future together, we will advance modernization together. Third, we must adhere to openness and inclusiveness. The Eurasian continent has nurtured ancient civilizations, led East-West exchanges, and propelled human progress. The peoples of various countries have long engaged in exchanges and mutual learning. SCO member states should enhance mutual understanding and affinity through cultural exchanges, give firm support in economic cooperation, and jointly build a flourishing garden of civilizations marked by mutual benefit, inclusiveness, and coexistence. Fourth, we must adhere to fairness and justice. We must uphold the correct view of World War II history, oppose Cold War mentality, bloc confrontation, and bullying, safeguard the international system with the UN at its core, support the multilateral trading system with the WTO at its core, advocate a world of equal, orderly multipolarity, and inclusive, universally beneficial economic globalization, and promote the building of a fairer and more reasonable global governance system. Fifth, we must adhere to pragmatism and efficiency. We should continue to advance SCO reform, strengthen resource investment and capacity building, improve organizational mechanisms, make decision-making more scientific, and actions more efficient. We should put into use as soon as possible the Comprehensive Center for responding to security threats and challenges and the Information Center. We should also accelerate the establishment of an SCO development bank to provide stronger support for security and economic cooperation among member states. Colleagues, China has always linked its own development with that of the SCO and with the aspiration of all member states' peoples for a better life. So far, China's investment stock in other SCO member states has exceeded $84 billion. And annual bilateral trade with other member states has exceeded $500 billion. To promote the SCO's better development, China has always emphasized substantive results. China plans to implement 100 small yet beautiful livelihood projects in member states in need, provide 2 billion yuan in grants to member states within this year, and over the next 3 years, extend 10 billion yuan in loans through the consortium of banks. Starting next year, on the existing basis, the number of SCO special scholarship slots will be doubled. A doctoral innovation training program will be implemented to cultivate academic and research talent. Over the next 5 years, 10 Leuben workshops will be built in member states, providing 10,000 human resources, training opportunities. Colleagues, the trend of the times is unstoppable and boundless. Let us remember our original mission, take active responsibility, and with a more high-spirited attitude and more pragmatic measures, steadily promote the SCO and firmly advance towards the beautiful future of building a community with a shared future for mankind. That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Respect for the independence and national interests of each state. These principles are true and unwavering to this day. It is on them that the activities of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are being built, uniting like-minded people who are committed to the idea of building a just, multi-layered order. A solid package of documents has been prepared for today's meeting of the Council of Heads of State. The main document, the Tianjin Declaration, reflects the agreed approaches of the participants on the key issues of the global and regional agenda. Of course, I would also like to note today the development strategy of the Cooperation Organization until 2035, which outlines the main areas of activity of the Shanghai Organization in politics, economy, security, and the humanitarian sphere. The pace of cooperation within the Cooperation Organization is really impressive. For example, the average growth of shale domestic product in the member states last year was more than 5%, and industrial production was 4.6%. Income growth and cross-border trade are all above the world standards. National currencies are increasingly being used in mutual accounts. We support the issuance of joint bonds to the member states, the creation of our own payment, accounting and depository infrastructure in the shale, and the formation of a joint investment bank. All this will increase the efficiency of our economic exchanges and protect them from external fluctuations. Within the framework of the shale, a sophisticated and competitive transport infrastructure is being built in succession. The volume of automobile, railway, and multimodal transport is growing. Closed customs interaction has been established. Electronic document of turnover is being actively introduced. The strategy of energy cooperation up to 2030, which we approved last year, is being implemented in full swing. The roadmap adopted today in its development is aimed at conducting a coordinated and balanced policy in the field of energy in the entire space of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. As many colleagues have already noted, the links between the participants of the organization in the field of science and education, health and the environment, sports and youth exchanges are expanding. The University of Shenzhen, which brings together 77 universities from our states, is working successfully. Regular forums of rectors of universities are held. The dialogue between students, postgraduates, and teachers is being activated. Colleagues, our organization is consistently increasing its influence in the solution of current international issues. It is a powerful locomotive for the processes of global development and the assertion of true multilateralism. And, of course, SHOs is making a tangible contribution to strengthening the atmosphere of cooperation and mutual trust across the Eurasian continent, thereby helping to lay political and socio-economic preconditions for the formation of a new system of stability, security, and peaceful development in Eurasia. A system that would replace the revived Eurocentric and Euro-Atlantic models and would take into account the interests of the widest possible range of countries. It would be truly balanced. This means that it would not allow attempts by some states to ensure their security at the expense of the security of others. Taking this opportunity, I would like to say that the Russian side adheres to similar approaches to the crisis around Ukraine. Let me remind you that this crisis did not arise as a result of Russia's attack on Ukraine, but as a result of the coup d'état in Ukraine, which was supported and provoked by the West, and then attempts by the armed forces to suppress the resistance of those regions of Ukraine and those people in Ukraine who did not accept and support this coup. The second reason for the crisis is the constant attempts by the West to draw Ukraine into NATO, which, as we have repeatedly stressed and said, has been a direct threat to Russia's security for many years. By the way, as a result of the coup d'état in Ukraine in 2014, the political leadership of the country that did not support Ukraine's entry into NATO was eliminated. In this regard, we appreciate the efforts and proposals of China, India, and other of our strategic partners, which are designed to assist in the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. I would like to note that the understanding we have gained at the recent Russian-American meeting in the Alaskan Highlands, I hope, is also in this direction, opening the way to peace in Ukraine. During the scheduled two-way meetings today and tomorrow, I will certainly inform my colleagues in more detail about the results of the talks in Alaska. By the way, yesterday, during lunch, which our hosts arranged for the participants of our meetings within the framework of the SCOs, we talked about this with President Xi Jinping. This work has begun, and I informed him in detail about what we have achieved during the talks with the President of the United States. And, of course, in order for the Ukrainian settlement to have a stable and long-term nature, the primary causes of the crisis, which I have just mentioned and which I have spoken about more than once before, must be eliminated. A fair balance in the security sphere has been restored. Of course, one of the priority tasks of the SCOs is to maintain stability in the participating countries and along the perimeter of foreign borders. Russia supports the program of countering extremism by 2030, prepared for our meeting, and is ready to get involved in the implementation of this document. We also consider it extremely important to sign today an agreement on the establishment of a SCO's Universal Center in Tashkent, which will respond to the entire range of modern challenges and threats, and on the opening of a separate anti-drug center in Dushanbe. We expect these centers to start working as soon as possible. To conclude, I would like to thank my Chinese friends for the very successful meeting of the heads of the United States. I am sure that the issues of the agreements reached here in Tianjin will be subjectively considered at the meeting of the SCO's Government Council, which, as agreed, will take place in November in Moscow. We will be glad to see the delegations of all your countries, dear friends. Naturally, I wish the President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadr Nurgaziyevich Japarov, and his Kyrgyz colleagues success, who will take over the functions of the presidency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization after today's summit. Thank you for your attention.